I know that feeling. That's a fun. That's
Yeah, you've had
love
that.
fellatio. Yeah.
But have
It's
you had
fun
an
to-
orgasm performing it?
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but it's happened. Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Like just because of the mere fact that you're giving fellatio, you orgasm?
No, there's like
I haven't had that.
There's like erogenous, like in my mouth.
Yeah,
there's like
there
an
are
erogenous zone, and even
It's an
like-
oral fixation, like
Yes.
like
Yeah, I used to chew my
nails. Norm Macdonald used to call it an oral fixation about sucking.
yeah, I'm
Good
sure
enough,
Freud
good
has a
enough.
lot to say about it.
Yeah, I think there's something about sucking, like babies.
Yeah,
Pleasure about, For sure, like,
for
sucking. Yeah.
that it's
pleasurable, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I don't think if I've reached like what I would consider an orgasm, at least during fellatio, which is
Totally.
all
all have
always
goals.
something to reach
Yeah,
for.
Gonna improve to my level.
Right. We can only wish.
We all have something to strive for. No, I find if fellatio is not part of lovemaking, it's harder for me to orgasm even with penetration. Like it's a big part of my pleasure zone is
Interesting.
a
nice.
significant portion of fellatio. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
This is the OnlyFans version of the podcast.
We open with fellatio. This is where we got at.
Demonetized.
Thank you for tuning in.
Where do you go from there now? It's just like, all right, so I was buying groceries the other day.
It's snowing in April in Montreal.
Okay. Yes. I don't know.
Good, you brought us back to YouTube.
Ladies.
Yeah, you were asking me how I was. Yeah, my partner is not healthy right now, and I've been like 2 weeks ago. I was out on a walk, and I was just like, okay, I'm ready. Whatever's next, I'm ready. And I think this is what's next. I think being there for him and just showing up where I can. Also balancing my own self-care. Like you had invited me out dancing on Saturday, and I should have gone. I should have.
I would have loved that.
Did you go?
It would have been good, Kate.
Did you go? Did you
I
go?
did not go.
Oh,
But I realize that's an important part of my self-care, and I can show up for him better if I make sure I have those little pockets.
you have to recharge. You can't just extend yourself beyond your energy.
He wouldn't have, I mean, I could have, because of his illness, he's not working now. He's had to.
Oh, he's
So
taking a leave.
weekends, weeks, it doesn't really matter anymore. So I should have taken the weekend night for myself, and then we end up having a beautiful night together, and it was really nice. But on Monday, I kind of was like, wait a minute, I didn't dance at all, and I don't know if I'm gonna get to this weekend. It was just like that was okay. Live and learn.
Yeah, but we're having a nice little party on Friday.
Hopefully he'll be able to come.
Oh, we haven't seen him in a while.
Oh,
We
I
miss him
know.
seriously.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I wanted to dance so much. Sorry, Monday, because you mentioned Monday, Monday, which is yesterday. I'm like, I wonder if there's a party, like if there's anywhere to dance on a Monday.
Friday
it was
we'll
Monday.
dance. We'll go downstairs and we'll dance.
It's not quite the same though as
I know.
this week, but yeah.
Still,
So maybe Saturday. Maybe I'll find something on Saturday. Yeah, but you're right.
I'm
we'll
down.
Get together Friday. Yeah. Yeah. Just
Sorry, yeah, you were saying.
Yeah. So just showing up for him and being his midwife, which is the closest I'll get to ever being mid or wife.
Okay. You
I've been working on that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
show
that
us
landed.
all the stuff that you wrote before.
Where you hiding that shit?
No, you know what I mean? Like, just like being present is the only thing I can be, modeling the living in the moment, not trying to get too far ahead of ourselves of what this means. And if this doesn't happen, then what happens? It's just like, okay, we have each other right now. I'm going to support you as best I can right now. And also 2025 is the year of purification, right? So he's got some stuff that needs to come up, and it needs to be seen and felt, and he's doing that work. And so I can just be by his side and help him when I can. And I know that on his own, he's doing a lot of that work. So, just that's what I'm lucky. Financially, I don't have to be working right now, so I get to be with him, and that's really a gift. So I'm, looking at it from that perspective. And for our 5-year anniversary will be in May. And
A lot of things are happening this May, hey?
oh, May is always a big month for me. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So just being the best partner, girlfriend, midwife I can be. And also just like seeing his strength, like seeing him, I'm just really proud of him, that it hurts him. It's hard. And, as long as I've known him, there's been this pain. And so a part of me goes back to that painful experience that I had with losing my daughter and realizing, it was that thing that made me go deeper, that really got me to the place. So maybe this is the thing that gets him to go deeper and gets him to kind of release some of that stuff that has been bottled up for so long, because he's never really had a chance to grieve it all out, or even be angry about it. I would hope that maybe he could have some opportunity to not just cry about it, but really feel some anger, if that's in there. I don't know. So it's just, this is what I'm being called to do right now. And so I'm just, Ram Dass has been a huge, so I had a book of his that I haven't read. It's called Still Here. And he wrote it after he had a stroke. And just talks about aging and, accepting our bodies as they get older, and just really sitting with that. And so I've been reading that for the last couple of days, and it's been super helpful, and just good reminders of some things that, remember I sent you guys a photo of that story with the guy who found the frog?
Yeah.
That was from that book. I was like, that was pretty hilarious. So that's where I'm at right now. And it's fine. It's there's just bringing that neutral energy of like, this is what it is, and I'm just going to accept it and roll with it and find the gratitude in that. So that's been my mission for the last couple of weeks.
Not easy. Yeah. You read about, though, 2025 is the year of purification. I just feel like everything is coming up for everyone. And even the ones like that have started their inner work earlier, there's always layers to visit, That's how I feel. Like, I found myself this year, since the beginning of the year, so 2025, like
It's been a lot.
January 1st, it's just,
this has been like 3 months of a lot.
Yes, a lot came up, it's just, but it's interesting. It's always interesting. And when you are, in that perspective of doing the work, everything that comes up is always seen with like an observer's point of view, so you can see, okay, where the work's at. So it's interesting for me because when I went to Paris in November, I was at my aunt and uncle's apartment, and they both passed in the last 2 years, one after the other. And my cousins had put up this house that they have in Paris that is like a childhood house that I've been visiting since I'm a kid, and they put it up for sale. So when I was in Paris, it was the last time I was in that apartment. And so I was going through some of the photo albums, and they had the only pictures of me as a child that my family has. So even my parents don't have pictures of me as a child, because we've moved so much, and we've had to move sometimes in
quickly,
in a hurry. We had to escape, So a lot of stuff was left behind. So in my aunt's stuff, there was pictures of me I had never seen as a kid. And I don't have a lot of, like, I don't have kids of like pictures of me as a child, like a couple. So I took pictures of these pictures. I left them there, but I took pictures of them, and I had them on my phone. So since November, I had a picture of me on my wallpaper on my phone of me at 6. And she's so cute. She was so cute at 6, And
I believe it.
I gave her so much love, that little girl. And then recently, up until like just a week ago, I changed the picture to a picture of me at 11 years old. Okay, and I was like, okay, I grew up, Now I have to give love to that 11-year-old. And I was having coffee with a friend, and she saw that I changed my picture. I said, yeah, that's me at 11. She's like, well, how were you at 11? Like, what was your environment, your vibe at 11? Like, what were you going through? And man, that question just whoosh, it like sucked me back into that time at 11 where that picture was taken, which was my sister's wedding. We had just escaped war from Beirut to Cyprus. And I was telling my friend, so I was telling her, she's like, really? And she was very inquisitive. Like, she was asking a lot of questions.
Well, it's
really?
got to be a story.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's a story
wedding
and a
with
half.
an escape and a war.
Well, yeah, I mean, we escaped with my mom by herself. Like, my dad was in Saudi, so it was my mom and 3 young children escaping, like, in the middle of the night under the bombs in a boat. And then so I was telling her all the story. And it's funny because I've always told these memories as if I'm recalling a movie. Like, I watched the movie and this and this happened to the characters. I'm completely detached. But recently, since 2020, since the explosion in Beirut, these memories and the Gaza war and like just the last 5 years, so much pertaining to my childhood and the war subject came up. Like, so much came up. So recently with this picture, I remember this incident. So we had escaped. We were in Cyprus. My sister, who was in university, first year of university, went back to Lebanon because there was a ceasefire and my parents wanted her to get her diploma. Like, she had to have like one last test. They called everybody, okay, do this test and then we'll just make you graduate, type of thing.
Even in the middle of the war.
Yeah.
You have to get that.
Of course.
Have the attendance.
Oh, guys, I don't know. I'll tell the story one day. No, I do have really good story, like movie-like stories.
All right, we're going to make
But
3 movies again.
Oh, 3 movies. Oh, I think we each deserve a movie. Yes, totally.
Or a TV series.
But my mother, the next day, like, we arrived, escape story in the middle of the night and boats being bombed at. We arrived at the port of Larnaca and then in Cyprus. My mom the next day goes to the French embassy and enrolls us at school. The next day we were in school, like with brand new people in class, we're like, yeah. But, for her it was like, normalcy. Yeah.
Create as much normalcy as possible.
Keep them
like
going,
stability.
So she sent my sister back to Lebanon to do this one test during the ceasefire and get her diploma and come back. But they started bombing again and we lost my sister. So we lost all contact with my sister for a few weeks.
What?
Yeah, we didn't know where she was. She was staying at my uncle's.
Mom must have gone mad.
Yeah, for sure. And she did. And that one night, and so I don't know why, recalling these stories to my friend about that 11-year-old Magda, I was telling her, yeah, one night, I remember, and then I started feeling it, which is new. I woke up in the middle of the night to go pee, and my mom was standing. We had like a bar-like thing at the salon. She was standing like this, with her head in her hands, clearly distraught, in the middle of the night. So, and I knew what was happening. I knew my sister was missing and everything. So I came to console her, like to kind of, or try to like come like comfort her. So I put my hand on her shoulder, but she was so startled. She just grabbed me, pinned me down on the floor, and started pounding at me.
What?
Yeah, because she, it's the middle of the night. She didn't.
You were 11?
Yeah. She didn't see, who she had in
her reaction.
It
like
was, she was just
traumatic
reacting
reaction.
out of all the fear, the pain she was feeling. But I mean, I was on the other end of that,
Oh my God.
and she just kept pounding at me. Yeah.
Screaming and she's
No, I was saying, Mom, it's me. But it took a little bit for her to kind of like snap out of it. I see my dad with a chair in his hand, like, oh, like, okay, what's going on? He thought like there was an intruder or something, So yeah, that's one story, guys. But yeah, then I don't know. This like the reaction of my friend was kind of like, oh my God, like you have you ever talked about this? No, you know, like, if you ever spoke to your mom about this? I'm like, my poor mother. No, you know, it's like, oh, but. And
Journaled about it, even
no,
just a
not
private.
even.
Wow.
It's just one memory out of so many. You know, it was. I never really stopped more like than. I've mentioned this story maybe a couple of times in my life, but that's it. You know, just as a story. But then, you know, now that I'm catering to that 11-year-old, and I'm like, damn, that must have been fucking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, it was for sure.
So yeah, I'm feeling a lot lately. It's coming up. Yeah.
We are in a phase that's not.
Yeah, so a lot is coming up
Lot
to
is
like
coming
let go, you know, also having this feeling responsible for people's pain, for people's emotions, all that. I must have carried that in all of my relationships, you know, to my detriment and probably to the other person, you know.
Yeah, this is our, as codependents / saviors / lawyers of light,
Well,
this is
when
what
you
we
have
do until we
empathy,
become
it
balanced.
makes sense. Like, you can't see somebody suffer that you love and not try to help. Even sometimes you don't know where the limit is.
Yeah, the
where should I stop? Where is the unhealthy
Yeah, boundaries.
behavior starts, and which one is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it many times. Like, I've extended myself so many times. I don't know, empathy or fear, whatever. Like, are they going to stop loving me if I stop doing that? It's just all.
But we do that mostly as women. I'm sure men do that as well. But I feel like as women, because of being born on a general basis with a nurturing instinct,
It's in
you know.
our DNA that we have to take care of
Yes.
kids and our parents.
Well, we are programmed to
Yeah,
take care of a life that depends on us.
Yeah.
You
Otherwise,
know?
you feel like, oh, if I don't do it, they're gonna
They're
die.
gonna die.
Literally. So
Yeah.
that's it's a big guilt that we have. I feel like, so if we don't do it with everyone, they might die, and it's gonna be my fault because I'm not doing.
If we didn't have that urge, our babies would be dying in the middle of the woods. You know, like
yeah.
that's an important.
Yeah.
Especially when they're crying and you can't
Oh, yeah,
console
yeah.
them. Like, we need that to stay in the game, right? Because it would be so
Depends
easy
on the
just to
survival
walk.
of humanity.
Yeah.
Us, if we're not there, like, nobody's gonna. There's no humans, so that
It's-
makes sense.
For you to be allowing this to come up now, like feeling like, okay, I'm safe. Your subconscious knows this. You're stable enough to be able to handle this, but also now through the lens of being a mom yourself. Like that whole added layer of like knowing how, if you were a mom, how you would be like that. Just kind of, yeah, it's not just the 11-year-old, it's the Magda mom too that has to be kind of processing that, and maybe that energy, as you allow it to flow through you, will be a way to help your mom, even if she can't feel it directly. You're letting that experience as a mom come through you in a way that she may not ever be to a place where she can allow it to flow through her.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, year of purification, baby.
Write it down. I when I started learning about narcissism and codependency, and be watching these videos and online coaches and stuff would come up like, oh, that reminds me of when this happened, blah, 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 blah. And I had a notepad on my phone, and I would just write it down. I would just write whatever came out. Like, you couldn't. One of the problems when you have a lot that happens to you is you never know where to start. It's like, well, this thing happened. Well, that happened because this thing. Like, you always have to go back. So whenever I tried to sit down and just like, okay, write out my life, I was very overwhelmed. But when I would just let myself write a thought down into a notepad just as it came up, and just put whatever details, and I'm sure if I went back now, it'd be very indecipherable, but I would just write whatever was coming up, and then I allowed for other stuff to come up, and then other stuff. And so I have massive pages that maybe someday will be useful, maybe not, but just I think the act
But they
of
were useful
as
at
the act of writing.
At the moment, you needed them. You needed to write down something.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
so
the
that's
act
the
of like
usefulness
letting
of
myself
that.
express
Yeah,
it, put
yeah.
it out there, so that I didn't have to store it inside here anymore, because I put it there, or I put a few flags in there so that if I read it again, I would know how to go back and find that if I want to. It's interesting when we were editing one of the, I don't know, when I was editing one of the episodes,
She was.
we were talking about the trauma and our stories. because a lot of times when I realized when part of my spiritual awakening was like the analogy of like a storage room, and we have all our boxes in there, and as long as you got it full of that stuff, you can't let new stuff in, or just the act of like cleaning out that room so that the spirit can run through you, because if it's clogged up with blocks and all that stuff. And it occurred to me like, oh, storage and story, they're from the same root. It never occurred to me like our stories are that we tie to our identity and all that stuff. Like those are the blocks, right? They say, to shed your identity means to let go of these stories. And so I realize now, looking back, that that every time I wrote something down, every time something came up, and I allowed myself, I would, attach a link to the video that bring around. I was like, someday I'm going to use this to write something down. I haven't written anything down outside of that, but I think that act itself was just super healing. Yeah.
Super healing, yeah. And I think feeling it is very important. I mean, for me, I can attest to that, because intellectually, I've visited these spaces. I understood that, I must have had these programmings. I picked that up from when I was a kid. I picked that up because of this. I picked that. But I didn't go through feeling like these spaces, like viscerally in my body, because all my life I kind of dissociated with these memories.
For
right?
sure, to survive.
Normal.
Yeah. So yeah, the feeling part. And maybe writing it down is sort of it is a let go. You're like putting it down. You're detaching a little bit. But yesterday I was feeling it, like I was bawling, bawling, like really crying, and I feel like this is really when I can let go of that story. And transcend it, because before I thought I had let go of it because I didn't feel anything when I said it. So I was like, well, I'm over it.
Oh, that freeze response.
I think
so
you
powerful.
intellectualize it a lot,
Yes,
so
exactly.
the feelings are not there, because you feel like, okay, I'm very powerful. I'm gonna. It makes sense. I know.
I got over
understand.
this.
I read and I did the work and all the. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's the opposite. I feel a lot, and sometimes it takes me a while to make sense of all the dynamic, like rationally, and then being detached. It's the aftermath of feeling and crying, and so
Then you
the
realize, like,
process is
this was
different.
about this.
This was that. This needed to be like this for me to move on, or to get better, and to make sense of why it happened, and stop saying like, this happened to me, why me? Like you say, like, why me? No. It's just, this is what happened, and what are you gonna do about it, and what are you gonna learn from it? And so this couple months have been I'm reaching a stage, like, I'm seriously in a limbo right now. I'm just sitting, and I don't know what to do. I have no idea what's gonna happen. I'm not even worried about what's gonna happen. I'm just like questioning, like, what's next? What is next? I have no idea what's next.
Well,
That's
that could
good.
be exciting as well. That not knowing.
Not knowing, because I've given up the fact that I need to do this because this needs to happen, and but now I'm just sitting, and I'm like, maybe one day I'm gonna have an epiphany or something, but nothing is happening. It's just nothing.
Famous last words, bitch. Remember when you were on this couch and you took the high dose of mushrooms and you're like, nothing's happening.
See,
Even with LSD, she was like this.
like,
One tab of LSD, she's like, I don't feel anything.
I always, like, maybe I'm impatient, but now it's the impatient, or I'm like, this is it. This is what, after all these years, this this is what's supposed to happen.
For now.
For now.
For now.
Because I like you said, we're shedding a lot, doing a lot of work. We're letting go of a lot of people that didn't serve us, and with a lot of situations that, like just when I was talking about you, but that job that I had, that I
Right.
had let go of a lot of things. And then at some point, it's like you're washing and washing and washing and washing, and you just have like this white cloth that's just sitting there with nothing. Like, that's how I feel right now.
But I mean,
I am nothing.
but that's a great, actually that's a great space in a way where you feel like it's a plateau, because you know how they say healing is not linear, you know. So feeling like you're sort of on in a, like you've done some work,
Yeah.
and now you're just
It's
out
like
of
you
rest
finished
a
the
little
plateau,
bit.
exam
rest period,
and you gave the paper and you're just sitting.
yeah.
I was like, okay, I've done my work here, and it's up to whoever to decide maybe if I pass or I didn't pass. I don't know. I'm saying this right now. I'm just realizing this right now because I've been like just not even stuck. I'm just like, I'm just exhaling and okay, my body doesn't want to do anything. My mind doesn't want to think about anything. And I'm just in a state of
Uncertainty.
uncertainty.
Yeah.
Which I think we all are.
We all
honestly.
are.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you think you're in
definitely.
it, if with everything going on right now, you think you know what's going on, there's certainty. There's probably some big lesson that needs to come down, or
And
some
I'm
additional
just, sometimes
shedding.
I'm just questioning like what's real, what's not real. It's just, and I'm like, if you keep thinking like that, you're gonna go nuts. Like it's because I don't have the answers. Like even though I want to know the answers, there's no point of asking those questions because I will never know the answers. Maybe I will one day, but for
Do you know
now,
what's true? Do you know anything to be true right now?
what's true is like I'm here and I have people that I love, and that's what's true for now. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's
That
pretty
is
great.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you too, because there's a little bit of like, okay, this is it, but is it it? Like, and it's just
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, okay, maybe the lesson is just it's just another lesson in being comfortable with not knowing,
Yeah.
feeling that patience, and remembering it goes in waves. Like there's you're on the crest and then you're down for a bit, and maybe looking back and being grateful for those down times. It's like, oh yeah, if it wasn't for that downtime, I wouldn't have been able to get through the high times. So it's just like, all right, just feel my way through. But if you think you're ready for the next thing, go ahead and say, I'm ready. I'm whatever is next. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I don't know what's next thing is, but like I'm up for anything right now. Like
Yeah.
just
Beautiful place
yeah,
to be.
something exciting happens. Yeah, I'm up for it. I'm just like not up for whatever was in the past. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to do any
Fair.
of it. Like,
Amazing.
I've done it all. I'm done. It didn't bring me anything of value, but now I'm ready for something.
Back up.
I'm not talking about 2 years ago. No. Oh, like all my experiences?
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned from them, but I don't want to repeat them. That's it.
Right.
I'm
Don't
done.
repeat the
I've done
class.
that.
Yes, yes.
And like I'm not looking forward to the same thing happening again. Like that's it. I've learned my lessons from those experiences, and I know that you learn something, so you don't want to repeat. I repeated those quote unquote mistakes so many times, and at some point I was like, okay, that's enough. I'm not gonna do this again. It's not good for me. It's really not good for me. So now I'm excited for something new that's gonna happen. So yeah, whatever it is, and I know it's not gonna be the same as what happened before. I'm 100% sure that.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. But keyword is excited here.
Yeah.
You're excited about what's to come, And I think like what Kate said, I don't think anyone right now living on this planet in this time space could say like, oh yeah, we know how things are gonna go, or it's
By September, it's gonna be.
yeah. I mean, life is like the idea of uncertainty and the unknown is like entering the collective.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it's settling into the
A lot of
collective.
things are happening at once. A lot of dynamics, a lot of factors.
Tower of Babel.
So it's just like I don't know if this happened before in many years, but this
Atlantis.
is
Yeah, Atlantis or Lemuria.
30,000 years ago. But yeah, this is something that's it's a lot happening, like a lot of clashes, a lot
Correct.
of things, bad things are happening. So yeah, something's gonna give, but what is it?
No, it's the end of days for narcissism. This is what we're seeing, and Atlantis didn't survive it because that narcissistic energy was able to kind of that hubris for whatever reason. But I'm not certain of anything except that the war has been won. This is just the cleanup.
Oh yeah, even like the war.
I feel that
in
too.
Ukraine, like
The war of light.
the war of light. You're talking
Yeah,
about
well,
other wars. I'm talking about the literal war.
It's all mirrors.
I haven't.
We live in a
ascended to your
holographic
level yet,
universe.
You warriors of
The
unknown-
empowered, emboldened
Yeah.
empath. That's what you are.
You
right?
are too.
You're that empathic energy that's not going to be taken advantage of by a narcissist again.
Oh no.
But also
that's it.
not
Down.
going to take advantage of anyone else. Like you're just
no,
in
no,
that
no.
balance,
Yeah.
and that's what's taking over. But yeah, more people.
good.
You're at the tip of the spear, baby. We're just waiting for a few more people
Leading
to come
edge. Yeah. Yeah.
on. No, yeah, that
This is another sound that you like. From
I love
me.
all your sounds, baby. Every one of them. But yeah, I think now, like, people who are standing, like, tip of the spear, meaning that, have been through thick
Hell on
and thin, yeah, and still, like, stand in love, basically.
Yeah.
Definitely. We're holding that light because everyone else is not going to be excited about uncertainty. I think on a collective level, everyone's going to freak out not knowing what's going to happen, what's going on, what are we to expect. I mean, it is
Well, people are panicking.
Yes, it is.
Literally.
It is
like
scary.
panicking and like.
especially the last couple of days with the stock market and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like in the threat of nuclear wars, right, are hanging over all of
and
us.
I'm like talking about war. Like even Europe, they're really preparing. Like France and Germany and all the Europe, they're literally preparing for a war. Like they're telling people, I saw something very funny. Like Macron was talking about because there's a crisis. They don't have money. Like they're like people are losing their pensions and all this stuff. And now he said, we have all the means to go to war. Like what? What you just said last week that
To cut retirement. So
so we can
now we can
have to like
budget for war is a
like
separate.
now we have like get ready, we're gonna
But what is money?
money is,
What
they,
is
they
money?
make the money, they get everything is available, and they're just
We're gonna witness this
lie,
whole
lie.
shindig crumble. Do you guys realize?
We're watching it now.
Yes,
It's-
but I mean, we're gonna see it like crumble. But what's more excited is that what is it gonna be replaced by?
that's what I'm thinking.
That's where we're
That's where we
being-
came
This
in.
is why we
Yeah.
get to rest
Yeah.
for a little bit because
Yeah,
whatever.
well, that's what I'm telling you. Like, I really need a pause, like a break. I'm just, I feel depleted. Like, I just want to rest and not use this brain. This brain doesn't stop. This is my problem. My brain is just buzzing all the time, and I just need,
Let's take a deep breath.
it's some.
What's going through it? Like what?
Well, just these questions, the uncertainty of things and what's gonna happen. Like my kids, I worry about. I'm not worry, but like my son is 15, and like what kind of future will be there for him, and should I push him to study or should I because there's a balance about like I want him to do good at school, but I don't want him to be in the
Stressed.
system of what's not working, and like it's just things like, and me, do I look for a job or do I just wait to see what's gonna happen? And or
Oh, been there, darling.
yeah, and I'm it's just stuff like that, like, and the reality, like this world, what is it like? Are we aliens? Are we not aliens? Are we just maybe it's just nothing and we're gonna die, and it's what's the point of all this stuff? And it's all these things like
I feel that. I feel that a little bit. It was just like, okay, it would be cool if some big disclosure event happened that kind of like got us to the next level. But it's just like I always come back to, it's like, you know what? Thy will be done. it's all in divine order. I'm not gonna. I'm. You know. It brings you back to that moment. I'm here now.
Yes,
I'm fine. I have an apartment. I've. The universe's supreme consciousness has gotten me this far. I trust. So it comes back to that. But I feel you, man. There's these moments where it's just like, all right, like, I'm ready. Like,
I need to do my taxes.
light up the pyramid.
Like,
Like,
what do we have to do taxes? It's like I've
so
never
arcane.
procrastinate
Oh my
doing my
God.
taxes like this year. Like I usually do them by March. And now we're almost in middle of April and I haven't done my taxes. And something is like telling me like,
feels
but I have to
wrong.
do my taxes because, you're still living.
We're still on this 3D world.
Still in this stupid system. And I feel like even the government is asking me to give all this. I'm just a single mom. Like, what do you want from me? Like, I am not a billionaire. I didn't even work half of my life. Like, what is this? Like, you think I'm gonna steal from the government? What is this? Like, it's so silly and
humiliation
it's
ritual.
so stupid. Like, the government is after me. Like, they want proof that I'm getting child support from my ex-husband. Like, what? It's like,
What a waste of resources.
Yeah,
Sisters.
jump
so
to these
stupid. Like, it's just so silly. And I have a really good relationship with my ex-husband. Like, we have a deal and he honors the deal, and the government doesn't know about this deal, but they want to know. Like, when does he send you? How much money? I'm like, we're fine. Like, come on, big brother. It's just silly to me. Like, it's
It
just
is.
so silly.
I hear you. I feel you. But also, I benefited from that system so much because when my ex needed to pay money, if Revenue Quebec hadn't intervened, I wouldn't have had
for
the
other
means.
women. I am
Yeah,
lucky that
yeah.
my ex-husband is like, he's doing more than what he's asked for, like, by the government, But we have a good relationship, so that I'm very lucky. I know other women, they have to go to court and fight and all that. I was just one of the very lucky ones. But this still, like, I am not complaining. Like, I've never called the government like, oh, he didn't send me no, so leave me alone.
Right. It's like finding
Yeah,
that balance. It's like,
yeah.
are there cases we need to intervene? Great. Are there ones where we don't?
Yeah.
But so you're getting I got the benefit from this. So
Yeah.
thank you. For,
Well, I get the benefit from it because when we divorced, they had to put like some guidelines for us to follow. Otherwise, maybe it would have been too like. And I don't like to call and ask for money. I was like, give me. I was like, no. So
nice when
I think,
someone else handles it.
Yeah. So that was like just the beginning. We needed that
Like
base.
mediation.
Yeah, that mediation.
Yeah.
So,
But I hear you about like beyond that, just like that being in like I don't want to participate in that 3D world anymore. Like I don't want to participate. Like I'm just done. I've been done for a fucking long time. Not to discourage you, but I feel like we're close now. But just like so. But it's not sustainable. We kind of have to be like, okay, yeah, we are here. We're gonna participate. We're gonna keep
Be a good
going and like
citizen.
keep playing the game until the end,
yeah.
But it doesn't. It's not easy at times. Times are like,
yeah, there's still trials. There's still some
Yeah.
tests.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't have the energy for that. Like this paperwork I have to do, I just need to print like 20 pages and send them to them. But 20 pages to print, I can't do it. Like it's just
well,
weird.
it's one button for 20 or one. It's the same.
But it's
it's the
different
same
documents. Like
Oh,
I,
shit.
I,
Fuck.
I have
Now
them-
they're
No, but
exaggerating.
This is the funny part.
Tyranny.
I have them on my computer in a folder. I just need to print.
I've been there.
I swear to
I
God.
hear you. No, I hear you. I hear you.
But like,
Love.
why? Why can't I just go and sit for 5 minutes and hit print and go to the post office and
Goes
send
against
them?
every fiber of your
Yeah,
being.
it goes against everything.
Because the premise of it is that you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Therefore, as a sovereign being, you shouldn't have to do this.
And I wanted to call them to explain this. unreachable. The phone line is like, call again,
You know,
call again.
hello, Revenue Quebec.
And now
I'm
Canada.
a-
This is Canada. Revenue Quebec, they have all my files. They don't
I'm a
need
being
anything
of
from me.
supreme light, and I
Yes.
don't
Yeah.
subscribe to your system anymore.
I'm an alien.
We should all do that. But imagine
Infinite.
if everyone did that. They're like, you know what? No, I'm just respecting my own light.
I spoke
I
to
don't
the aliens.
recognize
They don't
your
told me I don't belong
Authority.
here.
You need to add that check mark to our status.
What's your gender? Whatever. Other. When they put other, I put alien or something.
Pleiadian?
Like I'm a starseed.
Seriously though, I feel like that's where we're headed.
We're heading there. We're heading there.
Oh God.
No, it does. I
It's
think that's
silly.
why
It's
there's that
silly.
resistance. It's
Yeah.
just like it just feels like I don't play by these rules anymore. Like I'm a sovereign. I don't need a government. I don't need.
It's so infantilizing. Like I
Yes,
feel
yes.
like a child. I have to report to my dad or my mom. Who's like, I'm fucking 50 years old. I have children that report to me. Like I have to go. Okay, Mr. Government. Here's your paper.
So they take that feeling and take it times the entire country and see why this is
Yeah.
crumbling so fast. Like everyone's kind of recognizing, wait a minute, the same government that like jailed protesters and froze their bank accounts and like allow
Yeah,
like
they control everything. Like tomorrow, if they want to just take all the money from my bank account, they can just do it. Like
Yeah,
who's
it's crazy.
gonna say no? And it's just
Yeah, so as we find our autonomy again, this is that feeling is just going to get
Yeah.
stronger and stronger. Like, wait a minute, this isn't right. This isn't, and it's not real. Like, what the fuck is money?
yeah. This is the thing. It's like you see the things that don't make sense to you anymore. Like it's just like what we're doing this. we're doing that,
Facade, the
this is
facade.
this.
Yeah. Well, this is the feeling like I felt when the pandemic hit that I was like, yes. I was so excited, honestly. I was really excited because I had a feeling this is gonna like shake people up and people are gonna start to wake up like, hold on, this government, hold on, what they tell us, what the news tells us, what and
Saw that come and you realize, oh, this could be a big catalyst.
Oh,
to
I
wake
knew
people
it.
up. Okay.
No, I knew it. Like in March 2020, I was like, oh yes, thank God. It's happening.
Strapping into the roller coaster.
Oh, and then when the
started
whole
happening
world
since
stopped.
then.
Yeah, it
didn't stop. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was crumbling was since March.
I think
2020.
the crack
Yeah.
opened, and then it's like in a glass, and you just got a chip, and then the crap keeps going, and now like the glass is about to like just crumble down. So it's exciting. It's hard, but it's exciting because if you go bird's eye view a little bit, and you look at the state of the thing, like. People are distrusting of their governments now. In general, like
Definitely.
now in
Yeah.
general.
I don't think if they start another shenanigans, like the people are not gonna follow. Even the ones who followed before, I don't. Think
But we're like
I have
on a
I
collective.
have hope that they won't follow.
We are like a
Yeah.
female that's codependent. I think that's the collective because the outside is like narcissistic patriarchy, and the collective is like an codependent female.
We gave away our autonomy.
They're just waking up being like, oh, hold on, like I could do better than this relationship,
Yes.
I can.
Oh, that's a good,
yeah, it's a
analogy.
good analogy, right? It just gave to me. Yeah, we could do better. We can be autonomous. We can
thing,
make
like,
different
feminist
choices. We have power.
Yeah.
Yeah, feminism
we are the
allowed
one-
for women to have our own bank accounts to get divorced, so that women like me could actually go through that process, and then by having lived it in that micro experience, then to look around like, oh wait, it's actually at the macro level. And so that's why we're the way showers, because we broke out once. We showed people how it could be done once, and now others.
It's half the population, and we're the one who make babies, so that's a big deal. So they need to, but. Yeah, they're still playing us. Like they're still trying. They're trying. They're still trying.
And there's going to be a lot of people who don't wake up for whatever reason. The lies, the facade comforts them to the point enough where waking up is too uncomfortable, and that's fine. Like that's okay. They're not everyone graduates at the same time.
Yeah,
And so it's like it's fine, but enough people are, and that's why this year of purification. It's like this: if you're going to be one to move on, we can't bring these stories, we can't bring this gunk, we can't bring these blocks with us. So we're bringing these energies, we're going to clear out those blocks, and if you're ready to move, and this is then the split, right? Because at a certain point, if you've got an awakened population, we no longer have anything to talk about with the people who aren't awake. Like I've seen it in my own life.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That's right. That's right. That is correct.
You don't deal
No,
with microphones.
Mike's.
We were meant to talk on a
Practice.
microphone.
Yeah, you're a natural. You were born with it. Now you're back. Yeah. Keep it
It's exciting. It's exciting times. We watched a documentary, a William S. Burroughs documentary yesterday, and it was filmed like in the 80s. And then he was an older guy then, so it was like he was big like in the 60s, 70s as an American writer and very controversial and openly homosexual and like part of that kind of world. And killed his wife in Mexico. He was drunk, and she put this. He wrote "Made Naked Lunch," and I think it's in that book, or maybe in the movie. They have this scene, but she's got her own issues. She kind of lives on the edge, and he's drunk, and she puts a little like shot glass on her head and says to him, "Let's do that William Tell bit or gig." He had a gun, and so he shot to try to, and he hit her in the head. Happened in Mexico. She died immediately, I think. Anyway, that's. So it wasn't considered. It's more
Things
like
can be worse in life.
It's not murder because they were playing basically. So,
But, I mean,
yeah,
it
but
is
still.
He was
murder.
acquitted.
Huh?
I mean, no, it's
not. It's manslaughter. It's not
manslaughter.
murder
Oh,
because
right,
murder
right. Yeah,
is
yes,
premeditation.
yes.
He
Right.
didn't even want. He didn't want to kill her. So.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't
they
think
were
it was
just
intentional, but
playing a game.
I don't think. I mean, he
this-
probably went to jail for a little bit. Anyway, that was not wise. I was watching this, and I was kind of seeing this world, like America in the 1980s, and kind of. It's just like, would I want to live there? Like there was an innocence to this. Even this character, who's not an innocent guy, he's like lived this life, especially, but there was still this innocence that doesn't exist to now. We don't really have it here because of
The internet, maybe.
Well, no, just like in the 1980s, how could you know that it was all a facade? Like it was very hard to know that. But and so everyone was just very serious about their life and their job and
Well, because the internet was not invented
Exactly.
yet, so
Yeah.
people they used to live a local life more or less. They knew what
And
was
things-
happening in their community. You watch the news maybe for
And
half an
trusted
hour
it to be true.
a day, and that was your day. There was not like CNN playing 24/7 and Fox News and all this news. People they cater to their families, and they go to work and they come back and they go on a little vacation, and that was about it.
Yeah, it was
They
their
didn't even
immediate
travel that
environment.
much.
yeah,
People
that
they
was
never
very for the
even
wealthy.
left their
Yeah.
little town. So
Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of naivete still in people's.
And I think for the most part, government did serve way more than now.
Yeah.
Like there was
Yeah.
this like, oh, we pay our taxes and then we get roads and they make sure that our water's
Infrastructure,
clean.
yeah,
and
yeah.
and then school. Like there was this kind of like very
yeah, social things were
trust.
there, like more than now. Like I think after Reagan is the one who
Well, I think
who
it's
destroyed
even
the
further than
social
that,
life in the U.S. But yeah, basically people were very naive, still very innocent, and
because it could
Yeah,
be that
yeah.
you didn't have a government. It didn't feel that the government was actively trying to poison you, and you know what I mean. Like that, it just felt safe.
It didn't
And-
feel like that. Doesn't mean it wasn't, right?
No,
right.
no,
I think it
wa-
probably
yeah,
was.
yeah.
I mean, it's probably
Yeah,
starting
of
to
course,
happen,
like
but it was just
with all the wars and all the stuff that was
Oh,
happening.
yeah.
It's just,
But yeah, there was, so it's just like I was asking myself, like, would I want to live there? And it was like, no, I'm. It's and maybe this is where the Matrix is. It's like Neo was like, do you want to go back to living in that? You haven't seen it, right? The Matrix.
I have.
Oh, you
of
have,
course.
okay.
we have a long time ago.
But do you want to go back into the dream and live in a world that you feel
Yeah.
safe in, or do you want to wake up to the ugly reality?
Yeah.
And I'd rather live in the ugly reality. So it is exciting to, even though it's all falling apart and and this stuff is coming up. It's like, yeah, I guess there's a natural part of me, and I think for most people, that the love of truth. I'd rather the truth than a pretty lie. You know, the ugly truth is better than a pretty lie. Because when you have the ugly truth, at least now we're being honest with what's there, and we can actually start building and changing. And so yeah, it was kind of a nice little it is an exciting. It's not. It's scary and the uncertainty is there, but I'd rather that than just going about in the Truman world of
Right.
Yeah, everything looks perfect, and
it's not
you
real.
have a comfortable life, and that's it. Some people, they settle for this.
Well, if that's all you know.
I think in the 80s, that's
all
all that
they
was really
knew,
the
yeah.
option.
Yeah.
And
Like
there was definitely
the
lessons to
American
learn.
dream and all this stuff. Like,
Right. Yeah.
you have a nice house, kids go to school, the wife is cooking, and
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he was walking through his childhood home. It was probably a very wealthy neighborhood. It was gorgeous in Eastern St. Louis, beautiful lawns and the
everything is
houses.
picturesque.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, like a part. There is a part of me. I crave to live in a world of high trust again, where when you walk
your
out and there's no
neighbors,
litter,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. Like, and I guess I've never really had that, and it's fine. Like I can find beauty even in quote unquote ugly world, like for sure. But there is something inside of me that's like, oh, I would love to live. Moving back as the truth comes out, we're moving back to being in a high trust society. And I think by comparison, we're lucky. We live in a pretty high trust society. We talk about all the time how happy we are to live in Montreal. We can go out dancing as women and feel safe. So we're definitely luckier than other people, even here in North America.
100%.
But to get to that place again where, yeah, we're not there. No one's trying to screw you over. You're not trying to screw over anyone else. Like, it's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be nice. Yeah.
I saw a really nice, it reminded me of you actually. I saw a really nice documentary on YouTube. This woman in Vancouver, she created a corporation, they live in a house and they have a main house in the middle that they built. They bought houses in the neighborhood and their families, and they have the communal house with kitchens and workspaces and people, and it has 2-story. And if you're an introvert and you have your own place and you can go, but they have a nice garden, the kids are there, and I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect.
Yeah.
So, and they were talking about the loneliness epidemic, and they're talking about how people, they don't know their neighbors, and how we are moving away from our humanity by just
the tribe model.
Yeah. So it's all there. Everybody's chipping in. Like if it's somebody's like plumbing or whatever. So it's just nice, and they have people who are just single people. They don't have a family, but they live there. They work there, and they have their own space to be alone, to recharge, and everything. And then the kitchen is there, and it's amazing.
It is amazing,
Yeah.
this model, and that model also was something like during COVID that I thought was highlighted for people. Like, nobody could travel, you can't move, so you have to look to your neighbors, like your immediate neighbors. And go back to kind of like what you were saying.
There was no
and
third spaces.
No,
Everything was closed.
we have to do like micro communities.
Yeah.
This is what I feel like is
4 or
gonna
5
work.
families, so you never feel alone. Like if you want to talk to somebody, you just open your door and go to the communal space and you talk to somebody. You're not just always alone in your head. And if you're tired, you just go back and recharge. And
Yeah.
if you don't want to see anybody, you have your own space, and that's it.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I grew up in a communal living situation.
But that wasn't a good experience. Or
Well,
there must have been some good parts.
I just
Good
feel like,
things,
it has to be done in a way. And I think out west, I've heard of like some collectives like in San Francisco and stuff where they've got good rules and they've got good strategies for because I guess my first thought goes to, well, what if someone gets sick and they can't help out anymore? Like, do they get kicked out of the collective? Like, what happened? Because I think of like in the community that I came out of, there's whole families that don't work, and they just so the burden of like helping falls on everyone else.
I think that you have to chip in at some
Right.
point.
So what
Yeah.
happens if someone can't, for whatever reason, they can't chip in anymore? Do they get kicked out? Like I don't know. I imagine people who've been doing this for a little bit have some contingencies for this type of thing, because it's great when everyone's like pitching in or whatever, but there are gonna, and there might be like, yeah, you're sick for a couple weeks, fine, but what if someone's like becomes permanently paralyzed, and then I don't know, I just, and maybe in New Earth when we no longer have
Right.
like, maybe this doesn't become an issue, maybe it's less an issue, because now, especially
But
under
that's
the
when the community needs. You have to have a safety net. That maybe on a small scale. I don't know if it's going to be a burden on the others, but I think in a little bit, like like in a village, like back then, the tribes. Even if somebody is sick, he was taken care, or she was taken care of
By the healers.
by the healers, by the community. They were not going to be left in the street to die,
Sure.
which is happening now all the time.
Right.
For,
Yeah,
we
like,
see it all the
homeless
time
people
in
are
our communities.
everywhere. So maybe that's when humanity is real. When you see like because when you say we are all one, so that person is you. It could happen to anyone to be sick and validated and like invalid and go.
Well, yeah, that's why I also see a community like centered on healing.
Yeah.
So in a sense where if someone, gets sick, okay, a little bit, but if they get an injury that's
Life altering.
yeah, life altering. That's so weird. Something just came into my mouth. Like
That's the angel of shut up. No.
truth. Yeah, to have like for building new earth, I think one of the processes getting there, once we have established, let's say we are at a point where we've established communities, to be in a healing phase, because we're all coming out of something. We're all coming out of this
Traumatizing.
trauma,
capitalism,
patriarchy,
narcissistic,
old earth type of
codependent. Yeah.
yes.
That's bad.
Yes.
That.
Yeah.
All
list
the
is very
the list is long. So I think we're gonna have to spend in a community some time trying to figure these dynamics out in a different light, and have healing as our main focus, because then in New Earth, and we would know that as human, anything that happens to you, whether it's illness or injury, is something from the soul, a pig from the soul for us on the ground to kind of look at, work for, create an experience around and move forwards with, right? So if we see everyone going through that as such, like, okay, he's going through his work, he needs something.
Right, we can be supportive. And
We
loving.
we support, and we have so many healing modalities around different ailments,
Which is coming too. Like there's so much about
Yeah.
the body's ability to heal itself,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just tapping into that. Yeah. No, I guess it kind of comes back to that idea of like when you're in a high trust society, this can work.
right.
If there is some sort of angle, hey, I don't have to work, everyone else is going to support me.
Yeah,
Then,
yeah.
then
Well, if you
it
come,
becomes
with this
dysfunctional.
bad
That's
faith,
toxic.
no, that's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think we would have discernment, right? And if someone feels toxic, then it should be addressed and dealt with.
Oh, girl. Oh, my God. I
Right?
can't wait to make this story of my life. But the thing with my background is that it was founded on fear.
yeah.
It's like you
That's
got
it.
a primary. So it's a very different model than I think what are these more cooperative ones. And it's a beautiful idea. Everyone, like come together and they're brothers and sisters in Christ, and they're gonna. But ultimately, there was one big leader, and he kind of ruled with an
Yeah.
iron fist, and there was a lot of fear, and so. That first of all, you're attracting people who are looking for a father figure,
Yeah.
so they're lacking in themselves, so they're looking, so then that traumatized soul is now living with all these other traumatized, I shouldn't say souls don't get traumatized, these lives of traumatized people, and for whatever reason are attracted to this charismatic leader who's speaking truth that resonates with them. And so, but yeah, it runs its course though, especially when that guy dies, and now there's some drama there, trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah.
What's next for a community that was centered around solely around such a strong figure, and he didn't really. There was no contingency planning, no building up future leaders, sharing of. I mean, there was a little bit, like there's an elders council and stuff, but yeah, I grew up in a communal setting, which probably was just had a good
Culty,
role.
yeah, that's-
literally, yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm sure there's people out there
But
doing this much
there's
better.
no leader in that community. People
No,
are
no,
all
that's it.
equal.
No, a
There's
community
no
doesn't have a leader.
Everybody's doing their share, and they talk about all the problems. They sit, and there's
Yeah, and
no
I'm sure
one that said, "No, I am the one." No.
Yeah, that's
It feels
what
off,
we have to move towards.
Seriously, yeah. It feels off to have just one person making.
Oh, we're
decision or,
definitely
like,
moving away from
vetoing
hierarchies
the
and
stuff and like.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
guru. We're
No,
done with
no.
gurus.
gurus.
So.
So maybe that's what's coming around. Like that's that's what your body and your mind and your being
Yeah.
are waiting for. Is
It's like you're there now. You're just waiting for the rest of the world to catch up.
right. I mean, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just waiting, resting, because we're gonna have to be kind of not leaders, but
Role models.
guides.
Take,
Guides.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't even know if I want that. Can
No,
I just
as,
like
as I said, I'm like, oh, I just want to lie down.
be left alone. I don't want to guide anyone.
seriously? Oh man, that was
This
one of
is
the
the
big
thing. I don't want to have that
I hear you, I
responsibility.
swear.
It's like the energy to guide. And no, just maybe people would just look at us and be like, "Hey, we like this." That's all. That's
Guiding
that's
by
it.
modeling, but
yeah,
just
maybe
being.
modeling, being, and see what. I feel like it's happening to me right now. Like this fact that people are like, "Oh, we like,
I like
that."
your energy.
Yeah, just can you tell us? I'm like, I have to tell you now.
This is why I love the internet.
To
It's like
show
I
you.
learned, I
Yeah,
taught
from
myself.
this.
There's free coaches online. Like if you really, when you're ready to heal, you don't need to
You're
talk
gonna
to me.
see it. You're gonna seek it. You're gonna
and
know
you're gonna
it.
find
You
coaches
will
that
know
resonate.
It. You're just gonna know which one is true, which one just bullshitting you for
Because
views.
the teachers
and,
that work for
yeah.
me probably won't work for you. Like you really, because ultimately, guide is you. You need to be listening to yourself. So as you're listening to me,
yeah.
then we're not. That's
Like,
I don't want to be
we
part of
have
that.
intuition. Like it's just sometimes you need to tune your intuition to what serves you, and like I have very good, like I trust my intuition very much. Like when something feels off, I know it's not good for me. So we just
Has that always been true, or just more recently?
well, my intuition was always true, but I didn't listen to it. This is the
Right,
thing.
yes.
Like my gut feeling was always very strong, and I feel it like the gut, like
Literally,
just, I don't know. I just like you just follow what's
Push
easy,
through.
what's gonna you think is good for you, but like it always takes me like a while. I'm like, oh my god, I should have just listened to my gut because I've been through this whole ordeal that I could have.
my initial instinct was the correct
was
one to go.
the right one. Yeah.
Do you
Anyway,
know that
we'll learn.
discernment between a gut feeling and an instinct?
No.
So I learned that the discernment is made by human design. Human design where they. So the gut feeling, it's something that brews, that's there. You can listen to, like it's the gut feeling. The instinct is in the moment kind of decision. That's your instinct. Like think primal times, you have a mammoth
Running from a
coming
bear,
to mammoth or you
fight or
in
flight
it's in the moment you decide if you're gonna go left or right. It's in the
It may
moment.
not even be a decision. It's just
Well, it's in
acting.
instinct, right? Yeah, that's it. It's the
It's
knowing.
like a mom with a baby, and somebody's that she takes her baby and she runs or she fights to. That's
like in
instinctual.
the moment,
She's
uh,
not gonna take.
sitting there
She's
like,
not gonna
"What's my
say,
stomach
"Oh, should
telling
I
me?"
take my baby or should I run?" No, she's gonna hold her baby and run or fight
Right.
or whatever.
So there must be like different parts of our nervous systems.
Well, yes, and according to human design, depending on your design, you have different like these parts that are open or not. Like let's say some people, their authority, meaning the way they make decisions, is based on their gut. So the gut feeling. So you listen to it. My design is made on instinct. So they explain that my authority, my decision making cannot be a thought process or even like a feeling like, oh, I have to listen to how I feel. It has to be like in the moment, like knowing. So it's like the first
thing that comes up.
ping, which is really hard to listen to.
Yeah,
Usually,
yeah.
you don't really recognize it or hear it. There's so much like mental chatter that then takes over. But it's interesting there's actually a distinction between an instinctual decision or in this a knowing basically that comes and that gut feeling. There's some designs that they say it's a waiting. So if you have a decision, you need to give it a sort of time before you make it. So like every type has an authority style.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, I get like carried away by my emotions, so I need to calm down before I make a decision. Because my emotions take a lot of space in my brain, and it clouds all my judgment. And sometimes I just act irrationally. So, and if I don't act, I just freeze. It takes me like a night. You know, you say you sleep on it,
Sleep on it.
and the next day everything becomes very clear.
I think the
Yeah.
emotional type, because
Yeah.
there's also the authority, which is an emotional type. I think that's it. It's like sleep on it type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
I'll check it out for you guys after what your authorities are according to human design. It's fun. Human design fun. The gene keys as well are interesting to look at. It
It's been
gives-
coming up a lot, Gene Keys. I should maybe grab
yeah,
myself a
check
copy
into
of that
it.
book.
And Richard Rudd is really a very nice character. I mean, he's nice to listen to. Did you tell me about the gene key? Did you tell me you were listening to Richard Rudd? No, it's not you. It wasn't you. Someone was telling me
I
that.
think it came up. I did see it like as an audiobook. I think it's online available on, but it's come up. I've heard
Yeah.
readings from it. They were really interesting and really beautifully scripted out, but I've never bought the book or anything.
No, you could do it online. You can get your profile for free with Gene Keys, with human design as well. But Gene Keys is interesting because it incorporates human design. And it gives you a whole other kind of
Tool set to work with.
perspective. Yeah, sometimes it works. But the projector, which is a type of human design, and it's the one I am, really describes me to the T. Like it's like, whoa, okay. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know if you do want to dive into it.
Why not?
Why
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
Yeah. It's like some people. You know how you dive? Have you ever dove into your astrology?
A little bit before, when I was very young, I used to
But
love.
before it
like-
wasn't the astrology
Yeah,
of today. Before it was just like you read whatever you read in the magazine and you look at it. But like now how people look at their
Houses
birth
and
charts
transits,
and
natal
the
charts.
Oh,
house.
I've never
Yes.
done that.
It's like a
Was not like
science
that.
almost now to read a birth chart. It's a really complicated thing. Yeah, I had that done recently with our friend's suggestion. Yeah, we had a friend that suggested an astrology. She's into Vedic astrology, so the Eastern Indian type of reading,
heard good
and
things.
the more Western astrology. It was interesting to learn about it. It doesn't resonate like when she was reading my chart. I wasn't like, oh my god, wow. But I was like, okay, interesting how you can pick up some patterns and some things about your personality through the birth chart. But human design blew my mind. I was like, whoa, this is me. Yeah. You did human design a little bit. Did you check
A
it?
little bit. Some guy did my thing, and I didn't know my exact birth time.
Ah, no, that's
so,
I
important.
don't know that either.
So
You don't
we
know
kinda
that?
I
had
don't know
like
my
a
birth
little
time.
window.
Maybe I should
Ask
ask
your
my
dad.
mom. Fuck out of here.